Hello and welcome to Think About It podcast, hosted by myself, Jorge, and my co-host Josh. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the first episode of the podcast. I hope you will stick around for what episode to come. Remember to like, favorite, subscribe if you like what we discussed today. And so, Josh, you got something to open with?
I do. Right. Today, Think About It podcast, we thought it'd be great to start off with a PSA. You know who that is, and you're stupid. It's called Public Service Announcement. It's where basically me and Jorge are going to just rant about the things we hate so we can just get all of our nervous energy out and our feelings out so we can just be as real with you guys as we want. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about today. This is actually an experience I had like last week, and I really hated it a lot.
All right, what's that?
It's at my college, I'm going down the elevator. I come from the 4th floor. I don't want to walk down the stairs. And it stops, 2nd floor, because there's literally someone who wants to take the 2nd floor down to the 1st floor. You literally have 10, if not maybe 20 steps to go down. And that's like, I just thought in my head, like, this is proof, like, the laziness of America right now. Just don't do it. Please don't do it. That's stupid. I will laugh at you every single time.
Was she fat?
No, she wasn't. That's the thing, too. I don't get it.
I assume it was a she. Did you say that?
No, I didn't. Girls are lazy. Maybe just girls are lazy. No. Well, it was a girl. She was very skinny, though, like in shape, too, which I was surprised. She was like a teacher, though.
Maybe she was just anorexic.
Maybe she was just like, for the fun of it, I want to ride the elevator today.
Woo! We went down the floor. Wow.
I'm going to Disneyland. Tower of Terror, get ready. So don't do it.
All right.
Please don't do it. Okay, let's move on to the serious stuff.
No, I got my PSA too.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, trying to stop me from doing my thing. Okay, so I just started driving, and that's fine, right? Cars. I don't kill people in general, but I want to. That's different. But sometimes, so you take a left turn, and there are 2 lanes, and people come into my lane, and it's like, oh hey. Sorry, I didn't mean to get in your lane. I just almost caused thousands of dollars in damage, and I could have killed you and your family. But, my bad. My bad. I actually have no regrets. Don't kill yourself. Do me the favor if you go into my lane.
The worst is when they do like that, like little like shit-eating grin, and they like wave at you. Oh, sorry, sorry, man. Let me just get back on over. My bad.
Oh, but no, the thing is, they didn't say sorry. They didn't. Even, they were just like, woo, and then drove away. And I hate people. Anyways, okay, that was
from the heart,
close to my heart. I hate people. Okay, so
I don't hate you guys.
No, you're okay so far, but if you cut me off in traffic or if you don't signal, you're dead to me.
You're dead to me too.
I could kill you or I could let the world do it, but I think one's faster than the other.
Or I could make you walk the stairs next time when you want to take the elevator. No.
Alright, so anyways. So here's the thing about a podcast. We like to talk about things that we're thinking about, I guess. That's not our slogan. It shouldn't be. We'll think of something better eventually.
We'll think about it.
Okay. Think about it. Okay, so our first topic this week is going to be, when does a joke or art go too far? So basically, like, when does something like rape depicted, violence, or a bad joke, I guess, a joke about rape, when does it go too far that it's not okay to do anymore? Is there that point? Should there be a point? Or what do you think, Joshua boy?
Well, I think it all depends on the context, because I feel like context of what the movie's about or what the art is about and what it's trying to say, that's like a big deal on how much you can really do. I think if it's all reasonable, then it could be allowed. Depending like what you're depicting. Like one thing that when we were talking about this before we started, we were talking about some of ideas, and I thought of Wolf of Wall Street because I know everyone gave that a lot of crap because it's a lot of cussing and whatnot.
Yeah,
I think that was like, I don't know what that exact number is, but it was recognized on the Oscars for the most like F-bombs dropped ever.
More than 200, probably.
I think it was like 50-something, but 50? I don't know. It was like 50, 60, but that's still a lot for a movie.
Well, I guess, yeah, for a movie. It's rated R, right?
Yeah, it's rated R.
Can they make a movie N-17 for F-bombs?
I don't think they make ensign.
I don't think they want to, anyways.
I don't think they want to. Okay, because the thing is, they wouldn't get as
But
many
there's a lot of
views.
boobs, wasn't there?
There was a lot of
It's
boobs.
not like up to them. It's part of the rating people who are jerks.
The rating people. Because I mean, honestly, you can write the scripts with whatever, and they have the ratings. I don't even know how it works.
This is actually kind of unrelated, but like the people who choose the ratings, I was reading that they help shape the culture because basically they can reject any film for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
When it comes back to the people who made it, they don't tell them why. They just tell them that this is rated whatever we rated it, or they can't put it on the market, I think, and so they have to either change something till they approve it, but they'll never know what it is that gave them the R rating.
Oh, that's stupid.
So yeah, right.
It's like they never know, so they're just gonna blindly change things. That might even be it.
So they have the power. Yeah, exactly. Like it's happened to a few movies. Like I remember, the movie Hancock with Will Smith.
Yeah,
Will Smith. Yeah, it was it was okay. I liked it, but apparently it used to be rated R, and it used to have depicted rape scenes and all this stuff. And eventually they cut it down to PG-13. So it was an effort, and obviously what's technically bad.
Yeah,
the rape.
Exactly.
That's probably got them an R.
Mm-hmm.
He used to. I don't know if he used to curse, but it's stuff like that. Where another good question is it cutting content because as Hancock is not an artful movie, but is cutting content to make it spread more, is that unartistic? You know what I mean?
Cutting cotton, so I mean, you obviously taking out certain things to make it a certain rating,
just to make more money. Technically,
I think that's I guess reasonable from the movie maker standpoint because they want to bring the biggest audience they need, and then I think you need to find that balance too between how much you want to put in because I mean it all depends on how reasonable it is. Because back to Wolf of Wall Street, there was the cussing, and then there were also a lot of nudity in it too, which I thought was interesting. But I mean, it had that sort of Hollywood side to it.
Is that a strong statement to make though? To not cut the nudity, the cursing? Is that you think that's more powerful than removing it to still deliver a different message? Oops.
Oh, of course, yeah. No, I thought it added to the whole seriousness and almost humor of the movie too, because. I mean, I can't imagine it was like that all the time for stockbrokers, just strippers everywhere, just cocaine and what's it called? The stupid drug that was in it?
Meth.
Not methamphetamine.
PCP.
No, it wasn't PCP. It was it's not a narcotic. It's
opiates.
Not opiates. I don't know. If you know what it is, you can write it in the comment and tell me I'm a dumbass for forgetting that. But anyway,
that's good.
I think it was reasonable because I imagine they don't do it all the time, but I thought it really created the drama.
Strippers and blow. Okay.
And it really added. That's what I really liked about it because I mean, within the context, they're these stockbrokers. They're stressed. I mean, of course, they're going to be always uptight. You see it all the time in pictures and whatnot. They're always uptight. They're going to be cussing in your face. Seriously, they take everything serious, and they need some way to lower their stress. And I mean, it didn't take away from anything. I thought it was.
You thought it added, you said.
I thought it added, yeah. Because it kind of had its own role in the drama.
That's things that are already pretty average in life, cursing. We curse. I've said once. I've dropped the F-bomb twice, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But for a movie let's say I have no examples actually, but let's say a hyper-violent movie. Can you think of any? Saw.
Oh, Saw, yeah.
Saw movies, basically. That's not. I wouldn't call it art.
I wouldn't call it art either.
It's just a movie existing to depict hyper-violence, to make an audience squeamish. I think that's the main purpose. Horror, and I guess in its own way, the scariness, the squeamishness it produces isn't art because art is what to invoke emotion in a person. That's the basic definition.
Yeah.
But is that when the emotion invoked is negative? Let's say if a rape victim watches a movie with a rape scene and it causes it triggers them to have flashbacks, is that bad and should that be allowed to be released?
I mean, in my personal opinion, I think something like Saw, I think it still should be released because it's all Hollywood, and I think most people go in knowing that, even if they do get squeamish about it. I mean, that's with any horror movie. I've watched Insidious 3 times. I watched it 3 times in a row, after we first saw it, and I still get nightmares about that. That's a scary freaking movie.
The Saw was.
And then, Insidious was.
Oh, sorry,
I'm saying Insidious. Insidious, that doesn't have gore, but the shock factor. I mean, you get shock factor from other things like that. And
like even if in a movie they had like a car crash that could trigger somebody. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's almost like Saw's selling point. I mean, there's really no great story to it. It's literally just this like psycho dude, just doing the right thing by killing people who deserve it. Still messed up.
Is Jigsaw a hero in the first movie?
I think. Well, I mean,
the anti-hero. Technically.
He's like an anti-hero technically because Jigsaw he always like pulls in people. I mean, of course, to test them. And I know, like, always in his monologues before the trap starts, he's always like, "Oh, it's because you did all these drugs. You're a good person.
I'm gonna play God.
I'm gonna play God.
God's a creepy puppet,
and I'm gonna make you suffer. So live like totally handicapped the rest of your life, or just die." I'd rather fucking die. But that's besides the point. But yeah, honestly, like the shock factor, I feel like that's just something that they let him release it because of that.
It became a part of. Obviously, that's what Saw is. If it was just like PG-13 and they didn't have limbs coming off, it wouldn't be the same movie.
And I mean, the thing is, they let you know in the ratings. Like people don't just walk into it and like expect it to be like something.
That's very true. Yeah. That's always good. Obviously, they have the ratings, right, which prepare you for what's to come. And so I guess like if there's adequate warning, they should be allowed to have like what they want in films, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or, I mean, I've been reading this book called iZombie by Hugh Howey or something, and like basically I don't know if it was just like a faux warning, but it's like warning depiction of extreme violence, but it's like a book, and like I get that like something like that. It's good that it's there, I guess.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not necessary. I feel like maybe we're part of a hypersensitive society. I don't want to say like a group of people where like where everything that's like unusual, different, or like out of place, like we just like kind of attack it. Like I can't think of examples, but like like I guess gay marriage is one people are like super hyper like sensitive about. What you believe in terms of politics, like whether you supported Romney or Obama. One was Satan, the other one was like, savior. And like, I don't know where I'm going with that actually. Not gonna lie.
Great segue. Yeah. So we basically decided to go too far. No, depending on context.
Yeah, like if as long as it adds something to what the intended message is supposed to be. Saw is supposed to be intentionally terrifying, right? Like it makes you squeamish, insidious, like which I guess they're giving you a heart attack is what it wants. Wolf of Wall Street is showing you the hardcore nature of these stockbrokers.
And I mean all within context, and it is a movie, and that's like a art form in itself that at least most people would consider an art form. It's just like their strong choice they want to put in it. It's an art choice,
Yeah, that's a good point. It's all about context.
That as well. I mean, if it wasn't like a good or art choice, it wouldn't have made it this far in the script, like producing process anyway.
There are awful movies that made it to production, but
I think those just had money, and it's like, hey, we have all this money, just put a movie together, please.
I guess at that point, it's like if we don't produce, we're losing more money than
we went too far into this and to go back. We're gonna do this shitty script right now.
Okay. So, on to the next point then, since I forgot where I was going with my comments. Are video games art? And I thought this was relevant because, when you have film and you have extreme violence, and basically video games also have extreme violence. Like you can play like the Fallout games, which allow you to decapitate. Like I don't know if you played them, but you can like aim at people's heads and like just critically, like you aim for the head, decapitate, head comes off, rolls off. There's a perk in Fallout called Bloody Mess, which like you shoot somebody in the chest, their arms explode. Like super fun.
Yeah.
And and then the benefit is you get 10% more damage. So it's rewarding you for being more violent and being exposed to this. And there's also like games like Manhunt that were banned because like you like simulated murder, Grand Theft Auto, hooking up with hookers. You understand, like.
Yeah.
And people think that this kind of thing detracts from video games because it's like, like movies, people are like, if they curse too much, it's not art. Art is just like those cutesy movies, like The Artist, the only one I could think of at the moment. So yeah, what do you think?
And I think the whole violence in video games thing too, that's been debated for a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's something that it can be argued either way. Oh, it does it shouldn't be broadcasted or put in because it really screws up with your head. But I mean, honestly, like it's all production, it's all fiction, it's all happening on TV, and I think what's nice about the video games like that is that you can do things that you never would have imagined before. All your wildest dreams come true in Grand Theft Auto. You know what I'm talking about, everyone who's played it. I love me to get some hookers and put them in my sedan, hop out and let them ride off a cliff. That's the funnest thing ever. And then go grab a hot dog.
You don't run over them to get your money back? I like a refund.
Nah, man, I'm loaded, dude. So you can get my money back, man.
That's not the point. Cool. It's like the fact that you at a discounted rate. You get some of that money back, which is weird because you don't get all the money back. Sometimes it disappears. In the time that the hooker left your vehicle and you ran over them, they spent money. Or, I don't know, maybe it just disappeared inside. I
don't even know. But, I mean, even then, like, that's the stuff that's funny to talk about. There are these theoretical ideas that are just brought to life, and it's almost a stress relief to people.
But we're literally talking about picking up hookers in a video game, and I mean, I guess they picked up hookers in movies.
They do.
But
that's alright because
the movie adds to the character. In a video game, you're just doing it because you're a jerk in real life.
You're doing it because you want to be a jerk, but you don't have the guts to. Or you are, and you're just trading over into video game reality.
Okay, so video games are... You can live vicariously through video games.
Yeah.
And I feel like, like people say... People say like video games help you live out your tensions, like the emotions you have inside, and that's true to an extent. But also, what I've heard is like when you release your tension, your anger, if like let's say you always punch a wall or something, you're gonna start seeing that as more acceptable. If you scream at people, it's gonna become more acceptable. So I think what the people who are afraid of video games becoming a killing machine is that in the same way that if you punch a wall repeatedly, you will begin to start also trying to find a way to make that possible to shoot people. And I don't think that's a valid point. Well, I mean, I don't do it. I've never wanted to buy a gun. I don't need a gun. I don't want to hurt people. And if I do, it's like usually like I've never been in a fight, and I'm sure a bunch of people play what's like Ultimate Wrestling, something or other. So I don't think it like ultimately. The psychological aspect, I don't think it's true because you're displaying a character, right?
Yeah.
Like when you read a book, you get an insight into a character, and you don't want to more act like them. Is reading about violence any different than portraying it in a video game?
I feel like portraying it in a game is very similar to even putting it in a book or anything. Because I think the reason why we have these topics in games and in books, in all of these artistic medias, is because so we can be exposed to them and understand them more, because it's really gruesome to talk about them in real life. And honestly, I play some of these more violent games because it's interesting to see how all of this happens and it all plays out, and because that's something you never even want to talk about in real life or do. So that it's like this, like a play. It's like almost like an open place to like experiment with it, see, and just explore that realm of like violent, like that. Those of that violent,
the dark side of humanity. Like I never would have thought like for Grand Theft Auto 4, like the dark side of humanity. It's like this immigrant comes, he wants a good life, but then he slowly falls back into the underworld where he began from after the war. And like, well, I'm never gonna experience that.
Yeah. And
obviously it's not like a completely accurate retelling of the world. It's not like faithful, like you don't pay for gas. So in that sense it's not accurate, but I don't think it has to be. And then by the end of it, it tells you what I think is a very poignant story, very sad and emotional, where I've changed personally as a person because this character has had an impact on me, especially for like Fallout, like that's very story oriented. And maybe like not as much maybe like the Fable games. Have you played them? You've played The Last of Us.
Yeah, I have played The Last of Us.
And The Last of Us, did you think from the beginning to end did you change, or did the characters change in a way that affected you, like a movie might have?
Yeah, the characters just certainly change in a way because the script is written in a way that it incorporated, of course, the violence because that created the drama, and just the interaction between the characters themselves. They would build up each other, and they had this relationship to each other that was very strong, that was very movie-esque, and it's had the same effect. And what made it even more personal is the fact that you're controlling them. And honestly, at that point too, I mean, that's another reason why you could forgive like violence, because I mean, it's just putting everything in a movie just in your hands if you wanted to be that guy in the action movie. And it's all so like out there and unpersonalized to like normal life, because I mean people like who could make that assumption that it turns people into killing machines. That's a huge jump. That's a huge jump. We're all like very moral people. Sorry, the webcam just went out. We're back. Well, you didn't notice anything.
I don't think anything.
They didn't notice anything, but like the screen went black. Yeah. It just sits there.
Okay, so one final comment before we have to like actually cut it off. Basically, what I feel like, in video games when you have an option like to be good or bad and kill somebody, as soon as it gives you that option, usually I have that contradictory feeling where I shouldn't kill this person because, well, why would I? It's not like...
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of... Because the game makes the characters you kill very serialized, where they're all the same stock. They're computers. And so it makes them faceless. But as soon as it gives you the option, as soon as that character speaks to you, you don't want to... Usually I don't want to kill them. I want to be the good person and be like, save them.
Exactly.
Or like just let them go. And I think that's a thing that people don't really like look at enough.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's the idea that once you're given a moral option, most people choose moral choices good.
Oh, definitely.
Over evil. There are jerks who choose to be terrible people.
Be terrible. Or when the second playthrough, you do it again.
Or you blow up Megaton. You kill. You choose to help out. What's his name from Grand Theft Auto 4? Vladimir?
Vladimir, yeah.
No, we killed Vladimir.
Yeah, I killed that guy too.
You know what I'm talking about.
There's no reason why you shouldn't. Why would you let him live?
Alright. Anyways, thank you very much for tuning in. I think let's just think about a podcast this week. We talked about, well, when it's joke or art go too far, and are video games art? I think the general consensus would be that they obviously can be, just like they're awful movies. There are good video games that are more artful than others, that have a lot more going for them. Anyways, I'd like to thank you for listening this week. It's me, Jorge, and
this is Josh. And just a little housekeeping at the end here, guys. This is our first episode. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you really liked it. Let us know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button. Because stay posted. We're going to be posting these hopefully every Friday. That's going to be a consistent thing for us. Also, check down in the description. We have our links to our individual Twitter pages.
Yeah, I'm going to post my Twitter.
Instagram as well. Definitely check those out. And follow us. We love you guys.
Thank you very much, and have a good evening or day. Have a good life.
Have a good life.